Are you thinking about taking a road trip around Italy, but maybe you're not sure how to plan it? Well, stay tuned because today we're going to tell you all you need to know about planning a road trip in Italy.
Absolutely.
Andrea and I live in Italy and we drive all around the country, well, all the time. And for this reason, we decided to share our knowledge about Italy with you so that you too can travel all around the country by car.
Like local.
Exactly. Stay tuned. Hi, everyone. I'm Rick.
And I'm Andrea. And we live in Italy. And today we'll tell you all you need to know about planning a road trip around Italy. But first, if you like travel related videos like this one, now is the right time to hit the subscribe button down below so you never miss any future videos.
Hmm.
Also, you might know someone that is thinking about planning a road trip in Italy. And for this reason, why not sharing this video on social media? You never know. You make someone happy.
Yeah, they might learn something.
Absolutely. So let's begin our planning a road trip to Italy by talking about the advantages of a road trip. Well, because you follow our channel, you know that our favorite way of traveling around Italy is by train. However, there are a lot of very beautiful and important areas of Italy that cannot be reached by train. For example, some of the most stunning towns in Tuscany, such as Montalcino, for example, or Pienza, can only be reached by car or bus. Also, if you want to go around Lake Como or Lake Garda, you will have to drive because getting there by train is not the easiest way. Another important advantage of traveling in Italy by car is the fact that you have the freedom to make your own schedule. In fact, when you travel by train or by bus, you're limited by the train or bus schedule. While if you're driving the car, you can go whenever you go and stop wherever you like. Lastly, if you're doing a road trip and if you see something along the way that you really like, you can stop the car and explore it, taking photos, taking videos, and so on. That is not possible to by train.
Right. So now that we've explored the advantages of a road trip, let's find out an easy way to plan your road trip in Italy. Planning a road trip in Italy sounds amazing, right?
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. One big problem is how much research you need to do before you go. Well, in this case, it would be this one, do the research. Okay. You have to figure out where to go, when to go, which roads to take. All of that can just get really confusing, especially if you don't know much about Italy. There's got to be another way, right?
I think so.
Well, there is. Thanks to our sponsor for this video, Route Perfect, you can plan your dream road trip in just minutes, whether it's in Italy or anywhere else. Their smart trip planner uses AI suggestions, advice from other travelers, and expert tips to make planning super easy. Let me show you how it works. First, go to routeperfect.com. To start, just pick where you want your trip to begin and end. For example, let's say we want to start in Venice
Why not?
and end in Rome. Perfect. Since we want to go in the fall, we'll choose September 13 to say the 27th. Then we click on Start Planning. And there it is. Route Perfect gives you a great starting plan showing the distance and time for each part of your trip. But what if you want to change it? Let's say you're not interested in visiting Corcina, but maybe you want to visit Milan or Florence? Well, that's no problem. Just click Remove Stop and add the cities that you want. With only a few clips, you have a custom road trip made just for you.
Absolutely.
And there's more. Right on the same page, you can search for hotels and things to do in each city. Plus, the En route tab shows cool places that you can visit while driving between the stops. And if you need a car, you can book one right on the website by adding your pickup and drop off spots. Now, when you're done, You can also save your trip or print it out with a single click. It's easy, right?
Absolutely.
Route Perfect does most of the work for you, and it's totally free. But here's the best part. If you book hotels through Route Perfect, you get some pretty awesome perks. Now, they've partnered with Booking.com, so you can enjoy their competitive rates and keep your Genius loyalty program discount and rewards. You'll get free access to occasion and events nearby, the Members app En Route Explorer that shows you things that you can enjoy along your way, a trip organizer, and even a free city audio guide just for booking your hotel through Route Perfect.
That's pretty cool.
Mhm. So, if you happen to be planning a road trip and you want it to be simple and fun, give Route Perfect a try. Your perfect trip is just a few clicks away.
Now, let's move on to another aspect about planning a road trip to Italy, and we talk about when is the best time of the year for a road trip in Italy. In our opinion, the best time of the year for a road trip in Italy is the late springs or the early fall. During these two times of the year, the temperatures are very pleasant. Traffic is not too crazy, and city is not too packed. 2 years ago, we did a great road trip in Tuscany in the fall, and it was stunning because in the fall, the harvest season for grapes and olives, so you can also see trees changing colors, and you can check out the video up here.
Mhm.
If you can, you should avoid doing a road trip in Italy in July and August. In those 2 months, most of Italians take their holidays, and the roads can be really, really packed with traffic.
It certainly can.
Absolutely. Especially highways, and can be jammed, and going from one city to another one can take forever.
Mhm.
So please avoid those
Yeah,
channels.
totally agree. Okay, so let's move on to another aspect of planning a road trip in Italy, and we'll talk about what it's like to drive in Italy. Now, before getting behind the wheel of any car in Italy, you're going to need an international driver's permit or an IDP. Now, you can get this from your local AAA, CAA, or any other automobile club that's in your area. Now, this isn't a license per se, rather, it's a translation of your current license into a standardized format and into multiple languages. Now, when you're thinking of planning your Italian road trip, it's important to know the type of roads, and of course, there are three types of roads in Italy. The first one, and my favorite, is the autostrada. Now, these are the main highways, and you'll have to pay a toll to use them. The autostrada network in Italy is quite efficient, and you can reach every major city by autostrada. You'll use it if you're going from one major city to another one. For example, if you're going from Venice to Florence, you'll be using the autostrada. And of course, be careful of the speed limits because generally on the autostrada, it's 130 kilometers an hour unless there's a sign with a different limit. Now, the second type of road is the tangenziale and the superstrade. Now, these type of roads usually connect major towns or cities with the autostrada or with each other. Now, these roads are usually two lanes in either direction, and speed limits vary according to the area, but they're usually 90 kilometers an hour. But definitely watch out for the signs because there's often those autovelox
Yeah,
which will definitely try and trick you.
absolutely.
And last, we have the regular roads. These type of roads will be the most common ones that you'll drive on. Like if you're taking a road trip to Tuscany or the lakes, they can be very narrow and sometimes very windy, depending on where you are. Now, on this road, the speed limit can vary from 30 kilometers an hour to 90, but it's usually 50 kilometers an hour. Regardless, it all depends on the location.
So check for the signs.
Yep. Obviously, on your road trip, you're going to probably have to use your phone to navigate, but there is one very important thing to know when doing that. In some remote areas in the countryside, you might not have any internet. For that reason, Andrea figured out that it's a great idea to download your Google Map onto your phone ahead of time so that you can use it offline in advance.
Yep.
Now, this isn't everything you need to know about driving, it's just highlights. We did make an entire video up here so that you can know more about driving in Italy.
So let's explore another aspect about planning a road trip to Italy, and we talk about when to reserve your hotels.
Oh, that is a good one.
When planning a road trip in Italy, it's crucial to reserve all your hotels in advance, especially if you're planning on visiting some rural areas and countrysides where hotels might be scarce. In the rural areas, we love to stay at agriturismo. Those are old farms or country homes that have been converted into bed and breakfast, and some of them are really stunning.
Hmm.
The agriturismos are very popular, especially in areas like Tuscany, Umbria, Veneto, and Piemonte. Some agriturismo have incredible amenities, such as pools and spas, while others are more rustic and more like country feeling. You can do a quick Google search for agriturismo in the area or you're planning on visiting, and you will find a great variety of options for your stay. In bigger towns or cities, hotels are more common, but again, it's essential to make your reservation well in advance to avoid them being sold out. It's also generally easier to get a flexible rate should you need to change the dates of your trip or cancel your trip.
Well, that's really great advice.
Thank you.
Well, okay, so let's move on to our next aspect of planning a road trip in Italy, and we'll talk about renting a car. Now, Italy, like most major countries, offer numerous rental options from international agencies to local providers. In order to rent a car in Italy, you need to be at least 18 years old and expect them to ask for your driver's license and your international driving permit. Lastly, you will need to have a valid credit card. In Italy, it's mandatory to have basic car damage waiver insurance when you rent the car, and it's usually already included in the price of your car rental. Now, when you rent a car in Italy, make sure to ask for an automatic because most cars in Italy are standard, the manual ones. So if you don't really know how to drive a standard,
You're in trouble.
yeah, exactly. And some rental car companies will also charge you a little extra for an automatic. Now, when you get your car, make sure that you inspect it and take photos of any scratches or bumps. Also, check in the trunk that you have the spare tire, the mandatory triangle, and your safety vest. Actually, do you remember what happened to us in
Oh,
Puglia?
I do remember that, yeah. Yeah, they gave us a car without a spare tire, and when we returned the car to another agency, they were accusing us of stealing the tire.
Yeah, because the tire wasn't there.
Yeah, so I say better to take photos, take a video slowly on the entire car, inside and outside, showing the doors, the fenders, the glass, and so on.
And especially the damage.
Yep, and of course, video of the spare tire as well.
Yeah.
Yep. This will come very handy in the event the car rental company tries to say that you did or what you didn't in the car.
Mhm. Now, before leaving the car rental company, make sure to ask what kind of fuel you need to use. It might be a bit of a problem if you happen to put diesel in a gasoline car or vice versa, right?
That would be kind of cripple.
Yeah. And of course, also, if you're renting the car in the winter, make sure to double check that the car has winter tires or all season tires.
Yep. So let's explore our last aspect of planning a road trip in Italy, and we talk about what to avoid.
Well, what should we avoid?
Mhm. In our opinion, there are a few areas in Italy that we suggest you avoid during a road trip. Just driving in those areas. The first one is the Amalfi Coast. The reason why is that the road is incredibly narrow very windy and with a lot of traffic, especially buses. If you want to visit the Amalfi Coast, and you should because it's spectacular,
Hmm.
you should take a tour or hire a driver. Another area where driving is really not recommended is the Cinque Terre. In the Cinque Terre, you not only have the same type of road that you have in the Amalfi Coast, but also there are a lot of driving restrictions. So, if you want to visit the Cinque Terre, you should drive into La Spezia and then take the little train within the little towns. Last, we strongly recommend you not to drive in any major city because of the traffic. The limited traffic zone, or ZTL as they are called, are off limit to anyone that doesn't have express permission to be there. And then there's deep parking restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, we suggest the best thing to do is to find an hotel with parking and leave the car at the hotel, and then take public transit, walk around, or take taxis.
I think I just hit a like on this video for that.
Yeah. There are other things that you should avoid when doing a road trip in Italy that are not just unsafe, but are also illegal. First one is drinking and driving. Italy has some of the world's stricter restrictions in drinking and driving. So we recommend being on the safe side and avoid drinking anything if you are planning on driving.
Yeah, maybe anything out of the water.
Yeah. If you are looking forward to going wine tasting in Tuscany, take a wine tasting tour or have a designated driver. Another thing that is illegal in Italy while driving is using your cell phone. Driving on your phone will end up costing you a lot of money in fines, and you should definitely avoid this.
Yep.
So,
It keeps going up every year. We would tell you how much it is, but whatever it was, by the time you're watching this video,
it's
it
going
was
to be more.
exactly. Well, folks, this is what we have for you today. This has been a lot of fun. I hope, or we hope, that you enjoyed our or our tips about how to plan a road trip in Italy. As usual, if you have any comments or questions, we'd love to hear from you and answer them as best as we can.
Yeah.
In the meantime, we will see you in our next video.
Ciao.
Ciao.